Hello everybody, ToasterPhreak again. Thought I'd go on the internet this morning, go on eBay and see what we could see. Now, when I was on eBay before, I had run across a Toastmaster 1A1, which is one of these. This is the first commercial model, the first home model, I should say, that was ever made and marketed for pop-up toasting. And they're fairly unique. You can see a lot of them are missing some feet. Mine's missing one of the feet. It's just this rubber washer that's been riveted on. It's a fairly poor way to do something, but it did get the job done, and that is how they made them. But what I ran across was a 1A1 that had feet, sort of like a blender might have, rather tall rubber feet. You see a picture that looks a little odd because the cord's wrapped around and you can see a space underneath. Now, I'd take a film of this on my computer monitor, but this camera doesn't work well enough for this purpose to use against computer monitors. Maybe I could turn the brightness down or something, but I'm not going to mess with that. But I was looking at the pictures and I realized these feet are too tall. And then when I looked at the picture carefully, I could see that the rivets in the top were possibly aluminum. Who knows what they are, but this thing's had the feet changed on it, obviously. And so I sent them a message. And in the message, I asked if they had changed the feet themselves, or if they had got it that way. So what I said was, did you add the new feet, or were they already there when you got the toaster? These came with a flat rubber washer for feet that were riveted on. They replied, the feet are riveted in place. Regards, Anna. This eBay seller is Jack and Nipper, by the way. They have a 100% satisfaction rating. There's no reason to believe that the toaster doesn't work just fine. But when they respond to your question in an evasive fashion like this, they could have said, we didn't rivet the feet in, but they are riveted on. That would have been an honest thing. So instead of just accepting that, I sent them a response to that and said, well, you did a nice job of attaching them. Too bad you couldn't get nickel-plated rivets, which this unit had. It's clearly they weren't nickel-plated rivets. And they responded, the unit is as found. Cast no aspersion. Kind regards, Anna. Well, that's nice, Anna, but it's still not as built. And you now know it. Well, then this morning, when I went on, I found that this particular item was a new listing. And what I found out on this new listing was that, firstly, they'd lowered the price from $35 to $29. It's the starting bid. They still had a tremendously whopping shipping, which that's their business, who cares. But they did not include the information that the feet had been altered. This is one of the things that you need to look out for when you're on eBay. When I go back to the old ad, it says, bidding has ended on this item. The seller has relisted this item or one like this. It's the exact same item, is easy to tell. That's Jack and Nipper is the eBay seller if you want to avoid them or not, because as I said, the toaster's probably just fine. There's nothing wrong with it, and they don't have 100% positive feedback for nothing. Now, go back to the search, and there was another very interesting find that I came up with. And what I do is I just search for newly listed toasters every day, because then I'm not wading through all the stuff that I'd seen before. Now I ran across vintage Toastmaster toaster model 1B14. Works great. $9.99 for a starting bid. Well, let's click on that and just see. Well, it's nice. $13.76 shipping. That would be okay. Brings you in around $20 or so when you get your toaster. $20, $25. That's pretty much what you should expect to pay for something like this. So it says it works great, in good condition. Well, that's something. You like to see that. Has some surface scratches, to be expected. A couple of small rust spots. Well, maybe not. Interior bottom plate is surface rusting. Well, that's normal, the crumb tray. Automatic pop-up seems to not work. Well, how is that? How is that something that works great? But we didn't put in a slice of bread to see that it made a difference. Well, then what does it work great doing? Sitting on the counter? Perhaps? Who knows? Heats up nicely. Well, okay, I happen to know that a 1B14 will pop up eventually when it gets hot enough without any bread in it. Two-slice hole, that's an interesting way to put it. One element in one side does not work. Well, okay, so you didn't toast any bread. One side doesn't work at all. Well, one side half doesn't work. And as far as you know, it doesn't pop up. So what is it about this toaster that works great exactly? You have to be careful when you're on eBay and you're looking at this stuff. If you're wanting a nice toaster, which is presumably what you're looking for Toastmaster toasters on eBay for, because they are incredibly good toasters, you've got to be careful that what you're buying is something that will actually work and that you don't have to go to a whole bunch of trouble to fix just to start with. You've also got to look out for things like this. You want something nice, so you see here's a 1B14 mid-century works and they have a $70 price tag on it. Well, gee, why's that? Excellent mid-century atomic Toastmaster. Atomic? Two-slice toaster circa the late 1940s, early 1950s. Chrome outer casing with brown Bakelite detailing. Still possesses original cloth cord. Toaster has been disassembled and lightly cleaned, but still displays interior residue. Toaster has been tested and works perfectly. Okay, the coils heat up properly and the automatic pop-up function works as well. No burning odor when in use. Toaster is 7 inches tall, 8.5 inches wide, 4.5 inches deep. Okay, so this toaster is probably worth more than the average, but on the other hand, if they took it apart, they may have messed it up. It is possible. They have a halfway decent picture of the crumb tray you can zoom in on, and this one is 1.4 million serial number. That puts it back to 1949. If this thing works right, this is a very nice toaster. One of the earlier ones. I gave my mother one just like it. I paid just about $20 overall. It works perfectly. It hasn't had anything done with it. You probably can get something better. Now, if you are looking on eBay and you get the opportunity to buy any of these things for a low price, chances are you can fix it if something's wrong. But you should probably avoid doesn't work on one side. There you're into possibly repairing a broken element. And what will happen sometimes is people will jam knives into the top of them. A piece of toast gets stuck or something, and they're generally speaking fairly short-tempered when they do this. They're not being careful, and they can rip the element wires loose from the heating grid. and that's not real easy to fix. I really don't know how to fix it at this point in time, other than get a new heating grid and put it in there. At any rate, there's a couple of things to look out for on eBay. You're going to find, if you're getting one of these old 1A1s, you're going to find the feeder missing. Here's one where it looks great, looks like it has feed on it in the photos, but then when I zoom in, I see on the top here, where these rivets are, I see the heads of little nuts. Well, they've done a neat job of repairing this thing, somebody has, but it's not the way it was built. But we'll see how it goes. See what it's like. I'm bidding on it. Maybe I'll get it. Maybe I'll have a new toaster to show you. At any rate, be careful on eBay, and we'll see you next time.